Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to Lion Voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
I can give you an example as to how he used the emperor's great name. A good example is when he went to Tunisia. President Bourguiba was like, we don't know each other. How can we talk about unity? So he was not accepting the invitation. So my father said, "Oh my God, the emperor is going to be disappointed that you're not going to come." You know what Bourguiba said? "The emperor knows me." That's what he said. Yes, he said, and I believe the emperor will be highly disappointed, and he might not even go with it if you don't come. Bourguiba right then and then accepted the invitation because he was recognized by the emperor. This is how much clout the emperor had in Africa, by the way,
Yes.
and elsewhere. So people don't realize that when they say things about the emperor, it's people who haven't read about him, who don't
No.
know him.
No.
The year is 1892, and the land of Ethiopia has been experiencing 4 years of terrible famine and drought. They call it the Kikuken, or the evil days. At least 1/3 of the human population and 90% of the cattle have died. The hyenas have feasted on so many carcasses that they have become overweight and barely able to move. Just when the people could take no more of the evil days, a woman named Wasiro Yeshimabe is giving birth in a place called Ergersa Gora. This is her 9th attempt to bring forth new life. Her previous 8 attempts only resulted in death. Will this child live? Thankfully, a healthy baby boy is born. His first cries are drowned by thunder and lightning flashes across the night sky. The heavens open up and torrential rain starts to fall. Ethiopia's drought is over, and the baby boy is given the name Jabara, meaning one to be feared or respected. Lishtafara's father, Ras Makonnen, is a very important man in 1892 Ethiopia. Although he is overjoyed at the birth of his newborn son, he cannot spend much time with him. Ras Makonnen is the governor of Harar and must get back to the famous walled city to deal with its affairs. Furthermore, he is the foreign minister of Ethiopia, and having traveled to different places in Europe, he is very aware of the material and military advances they have made and the looming threats they pose to his country. Ras Makonnen knows that the majority of Ethiopians have no idea what is coming, and that he has to work that much harder to secure the realm. Lishtafara would grow up to become the legendary emperor, Haile Selassie I. To understand his journey, we must first understand the Ethiopia that he was inheriting, and what it was like when he was born in 1892. Get your copy of Kwasi Bonsu's book, Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1, The Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings, and increase your knowledge about the history, politics, and culture of Ethiopia in 1892, and how it connects to the rest of African and world history at the time. Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1 is available for purchase at www.bookmanexpress.pub. Please visit for more information.
So just to give a brief background, there was the Casablanca group that was formed before the Monrovia group. It was, Ghana's Nkrumah, Sekou Touré of Guinea, and Modibo Keita of Mali.
Yes.
A very incredible people. I mean, these are like incredible Pan-Africanists who decided that, it's time for us to unite.
Yes.
Unless we unite, we cannot move forward. I mean, that was the whole deal. So
Yes.
when they did that, unfortunately, most of the leaders in Africa didn't buy into it, in a sense that maybe the way they were doing it, most likely.
Yes.
So, countries like Nigeria, Liberia, big countries, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, decided, to create another group, Monrovia group. So, and these are big leaders. I respect the leaders today, but
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Sekou Toure, Nkrumah, Modibo Keita, Tafawa Balewa on the
Yeah.
other side. I mean, these were like really great leaders. And so it was very hard for them to even talk at some point, to a point where they just didn't see eye to eye. And accusations as well, subversions and whatever that was said.
Yes. Yes.
So there was no conversation between them at some point. So here comes this man, of course, with the green light of the emperor. Here he comes, and he did so much to bring these groups together. He started off by going to the Monrovia Summit, which was
Yes.
taking place in Lagos in 1962. The emperor could not go there because the empress was gravely ill, and she
Okay.
died the same year,
Yes.
as you
Yes.
know. So he went there, and while he was there, and again, the emperor had so much confidence in him and decided to just let him be. So while he was there, he convinced all the Monrovia group leaders to have their next meeting in Addis. Incredibly, they all said yes. So when they said yes, and another thing that just completely surprises me, that he sends this cable back then, a telegraph, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
You just can't reach someone by email or whatever, or you can't just call them. So he sends a telegram, basically asking the emperor if he could come and thank this group for accepting the invitation. The emperor came just for a day. He came and he made that speech, that incredible speech, that we're not in the Monrovia group, we're not in the Casablanca group, we're in the African group. Right? This
Oh.
is a powerful speech which
Yes.
says
Yes.
that Ethiopia does not belong to this group. So Ethiopia can now serve as a mediator between the two.
Yes.
So that opened it up. Now, the Casablanca group, what do you do? So my father thought it's the best thing to do is approach one of them, one of the leaders. And President Sekou Toure and Ambassador Diallo Telly were very good friends of his. I mean, uh,
Okay.
a Pan-Africanist to another. I mean,
Yes.
you
Yes.
you you bond very quickly. So they had this bond. So what happened was they invited President Sekou Toure, and the emperor was happy to hear this idea, and he gave the green light again, and they were invited. They came. They convinced President Sekou Toure that this gap between the two is growing to a point where it's endangering the continent,
Yes.
and it's giving our enemies much needed space to do their evil work. So so he agreed, and they did a joint statement basically saying that, we believe that there should not be a Monrovia and Casablanca group. The next meeting should be an all African meeting. Now, that's easier said than done. So, what happened next was my father was sent to all the nations, the African nations, independent nations, to convince their leaders. And basically, that's what he did. We're talking about people who never talk to each other, to bring
Yes.
them under one roof. And incredibly, he did it, uh, which was another surprising thing for me. And knowing my father, though, I mean, later on talking to him, I totally get it. I mean, he has that personality. So they came to Addis in May 1963, and as you know, they had that historic conference
Yes.
where the OA, the Organization of African Unity, was created.
Wow. Wow. Again, a blockbuster movie, and of course, um, this is why I use extreme terms like angel, because the job of a messenger to bring this message of unity, to convince people who, and let's be clear, the allegation against Casablanca was that they were funding revolutions in some of the Monrovia countries. So this was not good blood, in terms of
Yeah,
how they were
yeah,
seeing each other, particularly Kwame Nkrumah, Seke Toure were seen as extremists in some of their policies. So this was a very tense
it was.
moment for Africa. So to have Ketema Yifru, of course, he had the weight of the emperor behind him
Absolutely.
to give him that leverage, and they viewed him as such. He was viewed as speaking directly for the emperor, being empowered.
So,
But you still have to have the charisma to execute. Let us make this very clear that you can still mess up no matter who's sending you. You could still
absolutely.
say something. So we cannot undermine the great skill of this, and this is why I use these terms, because you have to be appointed by the Almighty to me to do this
True.
work, because he's
I agree.
indelibly ingrained in history. You know what I mean? So no matter what happens, you cannot change that history. That Africa was brought together under the auspices of this man, Ketema Yifru.
I can give you an example as to how he used the emperor's great name. A good example is when he went to Tunisia. President Bourguiba was like, we don't know each other. How can we talk about unity? So he was not accepting the invitation. So my father said, "Oh my God, the emperor is going to be disappointed that you're not going to come." You know what Bourguiba said? "The emperor knows me." That's what he said. Yes, he said, and I believe the emperor will be highly disappointed, and he might not even go with it if you don't come. Bourguiba right then and then accepted the invitation because he was recognized by the emperor. This is how much clout the emperor had in Africa, by the way,
Yes.
and elsewhere. So people don't realize that when they say things about the emperor, it's people who haven't read about him, who don't
No.
know him.
No. Yeah. Well, Haile Selassie I, the first, the Almighty. And this is the DejazmatchKwasi, where there are set thrones of judgment to judgment, thrones of the house of the great King David. I shall pray for the peace of Ethiopia. May peace be within thy walls and prosperity within thy palaces. Well, don't cry tears. The Lion of Judah shall break all their chains. Face your fears. The passage of time can heal all of our pain. Use your eyes and ears so you can see and hear all of their games. See your peers everywhere. Most man a struggle, but the lands are the same. Them got a slave mentality, slave reality, slave you for salary. Plus police, them full of partiality. For personalities, we fight principalities. And powers we not care about humanity. Them work for vanity, it's all insanity. Most people just want some autonomy. Them will kill your family if you build them economies. Don't cry tears. The Lion of Judah shall break all their chains. Face your fears. The passage of time can heal all of our pain. Use your eyes and ears so you can see and hear all of their games. See your peers everywhere. Most man a struggle, but the lands are the same.